Here's what we've got lined up for you today. Champions League chaos as Celtic and Rangers get a golden pass from the SPFL. The 49ers are ready to drop millions before they've even moved in. A seven-figure storm hits Celtic over the Boys Club scandal. And Rangers scouts are on the hunt in Serbia for their next star. If you want daily updates on our football, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, alright? Looks like the SPFL's rolled out the red carpet for Celtic and Rangers when it comes to Europe next season. In a move that's raising more than a few eyebrows across Scotland, the league's given the green light for both clubs to postpone a league fixture slap-bang in the middle of August, right when the Champions League playoffs take place. So here's how it's shaping up. Whoever wins the league, and let's be honest, at this rate it's probably going to be Celtic, who've got a decent lead in the bag. They'll be jumping straight into the Champions League playoff round. Rangers, meanwhile, will have to start their European journey a little earlier in the second qualifying round. But here's the kicker. Both clubs now have the luxury of pushing back their round 3 Premiership match to give themselves a bit of breathing room before those crucial European ties. Now, normally, a club would need permission from their opponent to pull off something like this. But under this shiny new policy, they don't have to ask anyone. Just apply, and boom, match postponed. No consent needed. Handy, eh? The league's justification? According to SPFL chief Callum Beattie, it's all about giving Scottish clubs the best shot at reaching the league group stages where the money flows and the lights shine brightest. He talked about huge benefits for clubs, not just in terms of UEFA coefficient points and reputation, but also the cold hard cash. Think extra telly money, better sponsorships, and those juicy solidarity payments to keep the smaller clubs sweet. Now, let's not pretend this is just about helping Scottish football as a whole. Because while the top brass are calling it a win for everyone, you can bet there are a few clubs outside Glasgow who'll be wondering if they're just extras in the Celtic and Rangers show. So here's the million-quid question, and I want you to drop your thoughts in the comments below. Is this new SPFL rule just smart support for Scottish clubs in Europe? Or is it blatant favoritism towards Celtic and Rangers at the expense of the rest of the league? Right then, the 49ers are just about ready to swap touchdowns for touchline. Drama as they prepare to take the reins at Ibrox, and they've already got their first major call to make. Step forward, Václav Černý. 11 goals, 2 assists, and a pile of praise later. And the Czech wingers made quite the impression in Govan this season. Here's the deal. Rangers have a buy option in his loan from Wolfsburg, a cheeky little clause that lets them snap him up permanently for £5.5 million. But they've got to pull the trigger before the end of May. Now, in today's market, that's practically pocket change for someone with Černý's output, especially when half the league's still trying to find the back of the net in the warm-up. Michael Stewart and Alan Hutton have already weighed in, calling it a no-brainer, and frankly, it's hard to argue. Even Darnell Curry got in on the act, suggesting Rangers could just flip him later for profit if needed. Sounds more like a savvy stock trade than a football transfer, but that's modern football for you. And let's not ignore the context. Rangers are still dusting themselves off after the Felipe Clement era, and Barry Ferguson's side have shown some actual spark, particularly in Europe. If they've got any ambition at all, under the incoming American ownership, they can't afford to let Černý slip through their fingers. It's a low-risk, high-upside move, and for a club desperate to get back on top both domestically and abroad, he's more than just a decent signing. He could be the tone setter for this new chapter. So the 49ers are on the 1-yard line here. Question is, will they fumble it or punch it in? Should a club like Rangers really be signing players just to flip them for profit? Or should the focus be on building a proper squad that sticks around and actually wins things? This is a story that casts a long, dark shadow over Scottish football. More than 20 legal claims against Celtic have now been settled as part of a class action linked to historical abuse at Celtic Boys Club, with a 7-figure sum being paid out in compensation. Around 30 former players launched a case, alleging serious and systemic abuse by figures who, in some cases, have since been convicted. The Boys Club, founded in 1966 as a feeder for the senior team, shared players, staff, and even facilities with Celtic. Despite this, The club had long claimed that the Boys Club was a separate entity and that they held no responsibility for what happened there. But this legal outcome sends a different message, with lawyers for the former players stating the compensation is confirmation that the two were inextricably linked. Laura Connor from Thompsons Solicitors said the litigation was made more complex by Celtic's defense, but praised the former players for their dignity and persistence. The club, for its part, had indicated last year that it was willing to settle, and further cases are expected to follow in the coming weeks. Financially, despite the payout, it appears the impact is limited, at least for now. Shares in Celtic FC remain steady, and the club recently reported a profit of £43.9 million for the 6 months to December 2024. Even with a drop in pre-tax profit over the full year due to rising expenses, the club's finances remain robust. But for many, the story goes far beyond balance sheets. It's about accountability, trust, and the long overdue recognition of suffering that went ignored for decades. Should Celtic FC face further independent investigation or even sporting sanctions over its historical links to the Boys Club abuse, or is financial compensation enough to close this chapter? Right then, Rangers are packing their bags and brushing up on their Serbian, not for a holiday, but for a bit of business. Word on the continent is that the Ibrox scouts have been spotted keeping tabs on Ghanaian international Ebenezer Annan, currently on the books at Red Star Belgrade. Now, Annan's only 22, but he's already been around the block a bit. A stint at Bologna, a productive loan spell at OFK Belgrade, and now back at Red Star, where he's putting in a shift 28 appearances, 1 goal, and a tidy 7 assists from left back. That's not bad going for a defender, is it? Sounds like someone who actually likes getting forward. With the 49ers checkbook expected to be officially in Rangers' hands by the end of the month, this sort of move makes sense. Young, athletic, and with a bit of international pedigree, 3 caps for Ghana already, he fits the mold of a modern fullback. And given how Rangers' left side has been more of a revolving door than a settled spot this season, it's no shock they're looking for a long-term solution. He's under contract at Red Star until 2027, so he's not going to come cheap. But if Rangers are serious about building something under the new American leadership, it's these types of signings, smart, future-facing, and with resale value, that'll define the era. Still, with reports that other European clubs are sniffing around too, the question is whether Rangers can move quickly enough to seal the deal before someone with deeper pockets swoops in. With American money about to flow into Ibrox, should Rangers be focusing on unproven talents like Annan, or should they be using that cash to bring in experience, battle-tested players ready to win now? Comment below what you think about the news. Don't forget to leave a like on the video to help me out. I post videos every day talking about our Scottish football, so if you're not subscribed, you're missing out on the latest news. See you soon.